What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Afternoons to Light. Let's talk about Lenox, man. This is a really sad situation with Lenox, bro. Let me just say this right off the bat. I want to talk about Lenox's character first. Lenox has had one of the more interesting characters that I've ever seen on the show. And really in the One Chicago universe, she had a very different character than anything I've seen on, whether it be Fire, whether it be PD, whether it be Med. She came in as a very complex character, kind of like a robot almost. And she was one of those characters where I know for a lot of people, they didn't like her. Either they didn't like her or there wasn't a connection to draw from her because she didn't seem very human-like. And we learned, she did a little bit of time in the military, so she was very disciplined. And we saw that in her. And the one thing that I like is as the season progressed, we learned a lot more about her character. They even brought in her brother that we've been seeing the last few episodes. To me, the really good point with Lenox's character is when she had that talk with Archer after she saved him from that maniac that was inside the hospital. Remember? That tried to stab Archer, or, he went crazy, then she ended up saving him, giving him a shot to calm him down, and they had that conversation. And in that same episode, she was talking about the disease that she was facing. And that, to me, that was like a really good, really interesting situation when they brought that in. So, that I knew was going to, humanize her character if she tested positive. And I think that's a good storyline going into next season to really follow, to see how she deals with that. And what's interesting is her and her brother, I remember there was some talk when she talked about it the first time that her and her brother might have the disease. And boy, oh boy, we got a little bit caught off guard because her brother ended up testing negative. So that was crazy, right? So Archer says this thing changes things for her too, and her future is more certain, but Lenox was not sold on the news changing anything, right? So Archer suggested that she take a leave to travel, but she makes it clear that she's happy where she is. And she's been dealing with this stuff with Hayes. I forgot to mention that. That's another thing that's humanized her character. I don't even know if it's a friendship, but maybe it is. Like, it's kind of weird because Naomi worked for her, so it was kind of like through her residency, so it was kind of weird, but she drew a connection to Naomi, and Naomi was someone that she really started to care about. And then he had the Hayes thing happen, a guy who she was interested in dating, and then she found out he was a whole monster. And that whole thing last week finally ended when they said he was suspended. And I wonder if that storyline comes back as well next season. That's going to be interesting too. But so at the end, we got a really sad scene. Lenox comes home crying, and we now know why she got tested positive for the disease that she was hoping that she didn't have. Man, that is horrible, bro. That is really horrible. So she got Prion disease, and that's crazy, man. That is crazy. I wonder how she deals with it next season. That's why I said I think outside of the Hannah storyline, this one's going to be the most interesting. So we're about to talk about Hannah next, but I want y'all to go ahead and give me y'all thoughts here. And, if you got anything to say about Lenox as far as the season goes, let me know, man, because this was a really interesting season for a first season character, man. It's kind of like when Hannah first came, she had a very complex situation when she first came into the show. So, it's sort of Ripley too, but I think Ripley's was mismanaged a little bit, which is why a lot of people don't really care about Lenox. I mean, not Lenox, but Archer. But I thought they did a much better job with Lenox's situation this season. So go ahead and let me know what y'all think, man. Give this video a like, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for watching Afternoons of Light.